Hello, Spirit, and anyone else who is interested in PNG tubing. I'm just going to go over some real basics of Viado Mini and Remix, just to get you started. There's two ways to go about using Viado Mini. The easiest is actually with only a single image. You load the image into either of the mouth slots, and then you'll add a darken effect only to the closed mouth. And that looks like this. Ta-da! This is essentially the same thing that Reactive by Fujitech does when I have my friends on stream and it uses their Discord audio. If you want to give this some extra life, you just go into the transitions, you can add a jump effect. That looks like this. As well as adding some extra animations, like the breathing effect. This is found in the wave move, which by default is in this circling effect. But go into the presets, change it to breathing, and now you have a nice little float. And it looked like this. Now, if you really want to get into what Viado Mini can do, you'll take advantage of all 4 states. This is a single base image with 4 different expressions. It's important to note that Viado Mini is swapping these full PNGs, so if they aren't fully aligned on the canvas or are different sizes, it's very obvious. Once you have your 4 images, all you gotta do is plug them into their little slots. You can add those extra little animations if you'd like, and there you go, you have a working PNG tuber. To actually put your tuber into OBS, you're gonna go to Add Source and use a game capture. You're gonna set your background in VeadoTube Mini to transparent, or you could also use a color, such as green, to create green screen with chroma key. Make sure you set your properties of your source to allow transparency, and if for any reason the window isn't showing up, try enabling the SLI crossfire capture mode. And then of course, you're gonna set your microphone source, and then set the threshold for the volume at which you start talking, and you stop talking. Last few things of note, remember that there are other states for other emotions or outfits, etc., and those all have their own images and also have their own animations. In the program settings, there's a hide UI button. This can be really helpful so that way you don't accidentally mouse over the window while recording and show your bones. In conclusion, plug in 4 images, tell it when you want to start talking, tell it when you want it to stop talking. Make it animate a little bit if you want, make it wiggle. And that's it, you're PNG tubing. Remix is a lot to get into, so I'm just gonna have us take a look at it so you can at least know where to kind of start if you want to poke at it a little. First of all, I suggest that you go into Files and open up one of the demo models, like Pickles here, so that way you can see things in action and understand a little more of what they do while already having all the pieces. To bring in your own base, you can import a PSD file. Whichever program you work in, Procreate, Photoshop, as long as it's a PSD, it will take those layers and import them as sprites. I suggest a base of a head, body, eyes, mouth, and then hair, ears, tail as applicable. Just a few pieces that generally can be one cohesive body, but if you want to start working on individual pieces, you still can. Once it's all in and you're sure that it's grouped and layered the way that you want, you're going to first enable what talks and what blinks. For actually animating, there's 2 main places to look. There's the Model tab and the Movement tab. The Model tab affects the entire model. It's just like VeadoTube Mini with more buttons. The Movement tab affects sprites on an individual level, or the group. In the Movement tab, you're going to see XY, which is a horizontal and vertical plane. There's rotations, which is a more circular movement. And then there's drag, snap, and stretch. And this can add either a very cartoony effect or just add a little bit of life and bounce. Now here's just a couple UI tips that I sure wish I had known before I started. If you manually type in any field, press enter to confirm. To avoid a field, press 0, don't just backspace. If you want to start working on a model while keeping a clean version or one version the same, save as, before making changes. When you click add, it duplicates the state you're on. This makes it worth your while to have a base, clean, neutral state that's already fully animated to start from. Yes, you can click and drag things. However, there is no undo. Most of the time, the way that you're going to undo something would be to set it back to that 0 void state. And that's everything. Here is a written list for your screen capping convenience. This was quite a project to make. I learned a lot about my editor. And of course, you're welcome to ask me any questions you might have. So I hope that was actually helpful. I hope I didn't ramble too much. And I wish you very happy PNG tubing. Goodbye.